Before I begin, I'm glad that earlier President Jeffrey Sigler mentioned the important significance of this year to the people that I'm giving awards to, the class of 1955. For those of you that know me, 1/3 of my basement is Brooklyn Dodgers memorabilia. And next Monday, October 4th, is the 60th anniversary of the Brooklyn Dodgers finally beating the Yankees in the World Series. 3 days ago, I received a phone call from Mayor de Blasio's office. And next Monday, on October 4th, to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the Dodgers winning the World Series, at the parade grounds next to Prospect Park, on ball field number 3, they're trying to get Rachel Robinson to come and other significant people who were involved at the time. They're going to name field number 3 Little Ebbets Field. And I will be there wearing my Brooklyn Dodger shirt and my Brooklyn Dodger hat with a pin of Jackie Robinson on the hat. Okay, the class of 1955. William Hodos. William Hodos is a psychologist who is known for his contributions to the theoretical basis of comparative psychology and the evolution of the vertebrate central nervous system, especially its visual system. He is a distinguished professor emeritus at the University of Maryland, where he was a founding faculty member of the school's neuroscience and cognitive science program. William Hodos.
I shuddered a little bit as I considered what might have become of me if I hadn't been not been lucky enough to spend 4 years in this fantastic place. In my first semester, I had a meeting with my advisor, and she said, "What are you planning on majoring in?" I said, "I'm going to major in art." She said, "Well, you did very well on the fine arts questions on the entrance exam, but you came in the 95th percentile in science questions. Aren't you interested in science?" I said, "Oh yeah, science is fun, but I want to be a painter and live in Greenwich Village." Well, she gave me a smile. I didn't understand what the smile meant at the time, but having had similar conversations with probably several thousand undergraduates since then, I knew exactly what it meant. It meant, "We'll see, kiddo." And I was so fortunate to get involved with the psychology faculty and the biology faculty, and it happened in an interesting way. I was taking art history at the time, which you had to take before you could take any studio classes. And I asked my art history professor if he would be kind enough to look at some of my paintings. And he said, "Well, I'm only a historian. You should take them to one of the artists that we have so many wonderful artists in the art department." So he sent me to see Professor Jimmy Ernst, who was none less than the son of Max Ernst. And he gave me some very good advice. He said, "Young man, if there's any other field you could go into, I would recommend it." So by that time, I had been taking biology courses and psychology courses, and I went right to the registrar's office, changed my major to psychology and my minor to biology and chemistry, and I never looked back. And I was so fortunate to be able to work, to do research with the excellent faculty in the psychology department, and to develop professional standards as an undergraduate, which lasted me really throughout my entire career. And if I could tell you one more anecdote, as I was going through my 4 years here, I had no idea what a superb education I was getting. I mean, how could it be worth anything? We didn't pay anything for it. And then I got to graduate school at the University of Pennsylvania, and the first clue I had was that my classmates seemed to be very impressed that I went to Brooklyn College. And I didn't know what it was all about. And then I was in my first lecture class. It was a course in perception. And the professor was asking us if we could describe the mechanism of some particular perceptual phenomenon that he was describing. And nobody raised their hand. And I knew the answer because I had studied it as an undergraduate, but it seemed so easy. I thought maybe it was a trick question, but as nobody else was answering, I raised my hand, and started giving a little lecture on how this process worked, and half the class turned around and looked at me, but the professor was glaring at me because I was ruining his lecture. And so finally he said, "And how do you know that?" I said, "Well, it's Cortes Laws. I learned about it at Brooklyn College." And then the rest of the class turned around and stared at me. That was a great eye-opener for me. And so I will forever be grateful to the wonderful times that I had at this place. I've thought about it many times over the years, and very lucky to have grown up in Brooklyn.